Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching this. My name is Phil from Radio.co, and thank you very much for joining me. So the idea of this little session, this live Q&A and demo, is to show you exactly how Radio.co can work for you. So I'm going to guide you through how our software works over the course of maybe 30, 35 minutes or so. There's been a form that's gone around in our emails, and people have submitted their questions. So if I read one of yours, thank you very much for sending it over. So I'll be going through them. And of course, there's loads of you sort of watching, live with me. So thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions about launching your own online radio station, how our software works, anything like that, just put it wherever you're watching it, live chat, message, whatever you want. And my colleague Jack in the background, he'll feed them through to me, and I'll get through as many as I possibly can. So like I said, so my name is Phil. So I'm the customer success manager at Radio.co. So if you are ever interested in launching your very own radio station, which I imagine you would be, seeing you joining me here, it's most likely me you'll be talking to over emails. Some people accuse me of bots, but no, yes, I am just that polite. So I'm going to jump into the demo now. So you should be able to see my Radio.co screen here. So what this is your Radio.co dashboard, and it's your homepage. And in its simplest form, it's just the epicenter of exactly what's going on in your station at this very moment in time. To get here, it actually only takes a couple of minutes. You can go to our pricing page. We have 5 different subscription plans. Each of them give you access to all the tools, the software, and the support to get up and running. And it's just the all different things like storage space or some features. Choose the one you want, click on the start trial button. Takes about 2 or 3 minutes just to fill in your details, and you'll be then prompted to log in, and this is what you will see. Yours will just be a bit more of a blank canvas, that's all. So what we got here, so first of all, we have this. This is our on air, off air button. By default, it's obviously off. Turn it on, and as soon as you do, it's actually powered by our servers, because the software itself is all cloud-based, meaning, nothing needs to be installed or downloaded. First of all, it's all powered by us. But the most important thing for you is that it keeps your station running 24/7 in the background. So you don't need to have one computer on 24/7 in order to have your station on air. We'll do that for you. So the only time you actually ever need your own computer on is to when you're doing live broadcasts, or if you just want to log in and make some changes. Otherwise, leave it off, and your station is still running in the background. This information at the top here, this is for live broadcasting. This shows the connection status. So are you a host currently connected to the software, ready to do a live show? I'm not doing a live show at the moment, which is why it says not connected. But if I was, I need to change that so it says connected or live. And to do that, there's just a small piece of software here called a broadcaster, or an encoder is the name for it. And in its simplest form, that just tells the software where your live audio is coming from. Now, that could be a microphone you have plugged in. It could be a headset. It could be a mixing desk like what I've got plugged in. Just tell the software where your audio is coming from, and it will broadcast it live on air, as long as it's all connected to your computer. What else have we got here? This is this will all be relevant depending on whichever plan you subscribe to. As I said, we have different plans, each offering different things like storage space for all of your content, bandwidth or listening hours, how many hours per month can people listen to your station for, essentially, and then listeners, so how many simultaneous streams can people, can you have? And then this just shows you, what tracks are playing at the moment, what tracks are coming up next, and what shows you may have scheduled coming up. Okay, so the first place you'll probably end up going is your media tab here. This is where you'll upload all of your content. So click on the add media button at the top. And here you just select tracks that are in your computer or on your, a hard drive, an external hard drive maybe. Upload them, and as soon as you upload them, they'll all appear in your media file here. You can upload pretty much anything you like. So, music, jingles, podcasts, interviews, ads, whatever you want. Click on them, add them in, and as long as they're MP3 or AAC, they'll be able to be uploaded. And they'll all appear in a long list just like this. You can see I've got lots of tracks here. Each of them, I'll say a good number of them, have these brightly coloured labels attached to them. And they're what we call tags. Now, what these do is they, first and foremost, help you organize your media. So I've got tracks here I've identified as pop. I've got some tracks that are R&B. I've got tracks that are adverts, rock, podcasts. And these aren't ones that are pre-created. No, these are ones that you can create yourself. They're there to help you. So whatever tracks you want to upload, even if it's talk content, give it a tag and it just helps you organize. So let's highlight these tracks. Maybe these are, I don't know, 90s dance tracks. I know something, that might be a station you're launching here, or it could be a speech maybe that you've recorded for your, religious-based station, maybe, whatever it is, highlight them, click on where it says add and create tag. I'll just put 90s dance for now, add. And what you do is it then creates that tag and attach it to those tracks. And again, maybe these are interviews that we recorded. I don't know, maybe 2019, we recorded these interviews. We want to play them again. Just put interviews 2019. You can be as specific or as broad as you like. What it is, it just adds them into a kind of folder. Because when you go to the tags option on the left, you will see the same list of all those tags that you've made here. However, now you can see how many tracks are associated with each one. So if I was to do a 90s dance show, I have 3 tracks of that. I have 2 tracks under my interviews from 2019. So, it's just a way of helping you organize, but you can actually use these tags when building your playlist. So I'll show you how that works very, very shortly. Before then, you'll see here a section called recordings. Now, what this does, this is actually where you'll find your live recordings, because when you schedule a live broadcast, it doesn't matter whether it's a live talk show, a live music show, whenever you schedule any live event, you can schedule it to record. So as soon as you come off air, you will have this MP3 file of your entire show. So here is a 3-hour show that I did last month all ready to go. I can click on this button. I can download the recording and just keep it saved on my computer. We actually have a sister company, Podcast.co. If it's a talk show, why not upload it directly to Podcast.co and make it available, on the likes of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, available as a podcast. Or for music shows, you can actually publish it directly to Mixcloud. And it's just a way of making sure your content, your live shows, can be heard on demand by anyone who missed it live. So as long as you're subscribed to at least the bronze plan, you will be able to do this. Likewise, we also have this feature called voice tracking. This will let you record vocal content up to 10 minutes in length. So you can record as many as you like, as many as your storage space allows, and each track can be up to a maximum of 10 minutes. So you can see here, I've got one to fill news, fill message, fill voiceover, and I'll show you how to record them very, very shortly when I begin building my playlist. A couple of other features here. We have live relays that basically allows you to schedule in a live feed from another existing online radio station. So if you want to syndicate content or syndicate your own content, this is the best way to do it. Just get hold of the URL for the station you want to stream, schedule it in, and you can broadcast whatever shows they're broadcasting on your station as well. Of course, get permission first. We have a talk show feature. You can do talk shows on any of our plans. However, what this tool does is this is actually a bit more of an efficient way of recording remote shows or remote podcasts and interviews. What will happen is you will create an online show here, Phil Demo. I will be given this invitation link. I'll send that to my guests or my co-hosts. They will click on that link and they'll then be taken to an online green room. And I will then let them in here. I'll see my guests waiting. I'll invite them in, click on record, and that's it. I'm now recording up to a 60-minute show, with my 3 guests. So this is available in our Gold and Pro plans, but it's just ultimately a great way of recording remotely. That's what a lot of people are resorting to these days. So yeah, nice, easy, efficient ways, keeping it under the one umbrella. Record it directly into your Radio.co account. And then we also have a news bulletin. I always think this is a fantastic, really professional touch to your station. If you want to have news broadcasts automated on your station, this is a great way of doing it. Create a bit of an intro and an outro. That could be a jingle, could be a top of hour advert. It's totally up to you. And then choose a news source. You can choose any source that you have permission to use, as long as it ends in a .mp3, as long as it's an MP3 stream. The reason being is because that stream will always be overwritten at the top of every hour. So in doing so, you will always have the latest headlines playing. And you just tell the software what time of the day and how many days a week you want the news to automatically play, and it will play automatically for you. So it's a great way of having news and having it totally automated as well. Okay, so enough about sort of the bells and whistles there. Let's talk about how to build a show. So to do that, you will come to your playlists. And this is how you'll build any show. This is for any music show or talk show. Anything that's pre-recorded needs to be built into a playlist. So you can see some playlists I have already. I have a breakfast show, classic rock, default, podcasts, R&B. Now, this default playlist is actually one that you will be given when you create your account. It will be empty, but we always recommend filling it with as much material as possible. The reason being for that is because we've actually built it to do a couple of important jobs. First of all, if you are ever hosting a live show, which I imagine a good amount of you will want to do, you can actually set a backup playlist to be there in the event of a technical emergency. So if your live DJ, their internet connection cuts out or they're late for any reason, then that will automatically play. And as it suggests, the default is the default. The other job that it does, it will actually automatically fade in during any gap in your schedule. So you don't need to create 24 hours of content every single day. I'll show you how that works when I get to my schedule. But first of all, let's build a show. So what I'm going to do is at the top here, I'll keep it in theme of that tag I created before. So this is 90s dance with Phil. Why not? I don't know a thing about 90s dance, but there we go. I'm about to go on air with it. Give it a color. Nice vibrant color there. Perfect for the 90s. Click on add. And when you click on the add button, it then takes you to your playlist builder or your show builder. So you can see here, 90s Dance with Phil, and you can see the duration of the show. Now, to add tracks to your playlist, simply work the way down your uploaded tracks here and just click on the plus button. And you'll see as soon as you do, it jumps straight into your playlist. So I'm going to work my way down this list, adding in certain tracks here. And you can also see as soon as I add in a track, it's totaling up the duration so you know exactly how long this particular show is. And as well, you don't need to add tracks into any specific order because once they're in there, move them around with the mouse. Get everything dragged around like so. There we go. Get everything in the exact running order for you. And you can also type in specific tracks there. If you know the specific tracks you want, add them in there. But yeah, you can basically add in anything that you have uploaded. Now, if I save this playlist and I schedule it, it will play for this exact amount of time and it will play these tracks from top to bottom. But what if I want to play tracks at random? Well, to do that, you will use tags. Like so. So now you can see that same list of tags I showed you earlier. However, now you can actually take these tags and add them into your playlist. So I'll take this 90s tag here, add that in, add it in again. And why not use that one I made before, 90s dance, like so. Now, what the software will do is when it gets to these tags in the running order, the software will play a random track that's associated with that tag. And it will play every track once before it plays any for a second time. So even if you had the same tag in multiple times, as long as you have plenty of tracks in that tag, each time it plays, it will be completely random. If I had 190 tracks and I put the tag in 100 times in a row, each time it will be different, just like that. So the software doesn't know what track it's going to play until it actually starts playing. But you can also set separation rules in your settings, which means if the same artist has played already within a certain time, it simply won't play. It will skip over and play something else. But it's just a great alternative way of building a playlist, having the software choose it for you. And as well, the very least you would actually need to build a playlist is like this. So if I just get rid of all these tracks here, 90s Dance with Phil only contains one 90s Dance track tag. Now, what that means, I could schedule that for 2 hours. And for that entire 2-hour period, it would just keep playing a random 90s track back to back, just like that. So as long as I've got at least 2 hours worth of tracks tagged as 90s Dance, that show is going to be completely random. Of course, if I only had a couple of tracks, the same tracks will repeat many, many times. So it's a great way of very quickly, very easily building a playlist if you're not bothered about what tracks are playing. Other content you can use, your recording. So if you've got any old live shows, take that recording, add it in. There we go. That's ready to play on air. And then voice tracks. So as I said, this will let you record vocal content up to 10 minutes in length. And to record one, click on this microphone button here. Click on this red microphone button. And it will ask you to confirm what input you're using, so what microphone, headset, desk. Select the right option. Click on that a second time, and it'll then start counting backwards from 10 minutes. So what it's doing is it's currently recording everything that I'm saying through my microphone. So I could use this opportunity to Just introduce a piece of music that's coming up next, back introduce something that's just been on, ask people to get in touch. I can record my jingles, my adverts here, and of course, I can just talk for 10 minutes. And anything that you select as your input can be used. So if you had a mixing desk with another microphone plugged in, so you've got a co-host in the same room, or you had an interview with someone and they were connected via alternative means, anything that's traveling through this piece of equipment will be recorded. So it's a great tool to use for interviews, voice tracks, and pretty much anything that uses your voice. Click on this when you're ready to stop. You can then listen back to it to make sure everything sounds okay. If it does, great. If it doesn't, you can clear it and start again. And if you want to save it, you just need to give it a name. So I'll call this one Phil Rambling. Click on Create. When you click on Create, it will then save it and place it by default at the bottom of your playlist. Of course, if you don't want it there, when it's saved, just move it around. There we go. Maybe Phil Rambling introduces this show here. So you can record as many as you like, scatter them throughout, and they're all ready to go. Just like that. That's how you could very quickly build a pre-recorded show. And this is a great tool for those who have DJs who are maybe not sure about going live yet, or you're not sure about them going live. Invite them to build their own playlists and do voice tracking for them. It's a great way of getting confidence and experience in using the platform. But when you're happy with your playlist, like I am, I'm going to click on Save. There we go. And, it's not saved it because I think there was something wrong with my voice track there. That's embarrassing. So what I do is I'm going to go to my schedule here. We'll discard these changes for now. But what should happen is, it should save. I think my internet connection dropped out slightly, so it's not saved. But what you'll see here on the schedule is what I have on my particular station. So I have two shows. I have a live show 9 till 12 and a live show 6 till 9 here. Now, what they'll do here is, as I said, anytime there's a gap in your schedule, like there just so happens to be here, 6 hours every single day, that default playlist will automatically fade in and take over. So what it's doing here is, as soon as Alan finishes his show at 12, it's going to fade in that default playlist because it knows nothing's coming up next. And it will just continue playing on loop for as long as it needs to, in this case 6 hours. It will always fill in that time as well, so even if my default playlist was 1 hour long, it will play it 6 times on loop in this case. So some people actually leave their schedules completely blank as well, and they just update their default playlist from time to time. So you can very welcome to do that. A lot of people do that very happily. Or you can build specific shows like I've done here and let us fill in the gaps. So to do that, first of all, you want to find the day you want to broadcast. So we'll pick Friday, and I'm going to select 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock, a nice afternoon show. So click on 2 in this case, and then simply drag it down to the time you want the show to finish, like so. Now, I just dragged it there, but you can be very specific if you want your duration to be to a particular minute, like your show wants to be 1 hour and 44 minutes long. You can do that. Just set it here. So what you can see here, my show starts at 2, it runs for 2 hours, and therefore finishes at 4. Currently, I've got it scheduled for Friday, but if I do want this show to go on air on other days of the week, I can select any other day, like so, and it will schedule it 2 till 4 across all of these days as well to save me time. I can also select all, and it will do every day. Now, you can also do the same thing on a weekly basis. Select every day for a certain amount of weeks, up until a random date. So here, I've actually chosen, we'll do the 13th of May, 2022. So it's going to schedule 12 months worth of content in about 2 seconds. But before I do that, click on Advanced. And this is where you tell the software what kind of show this is going to be. So here you'll see event type. What I'm going to do is, if I click on playlist, as the name suggests, it simply means I'm going to play a playlist on air during this time, 2 till 4. Where it does say playlist, click on this drop-down option where you'll see all the shows that you've made before. So there we go, 90s Dance with Phil. That's the one we want to play. So this just means I'm going to play the 90s Dance with Phil playlist, 2 till 4, every day, every week for the next 12 months. And if I'm happy with that, I'm going to click on Create Event. It'll take about 2 seconds, and it will schedule it. There we go. That's 12 months worth of content all ready to go. So you can see here, 2 till 4, 90s Dance with Phil. And that's how easy it is to do a pre-recorded show. Just upload your content, build a playlist, and then tell the software what time you want it to play. And it will do it for you automatically, and it will also fill in those gaps. Like there are gaps here either side, they will be filled by that default playlist. But if you want a specific playlist playing at a specific time, that's how you do it. Nice and easy. If you want this to be a live show, it's still very, very simple to do. Click on it. Where it says event type, select live DJ. Now here you need to tell the software which specific user this is going to be, because it's going to be expecting that person to be logged in and ready to do a live show. So here you'll see everyone that's associated with your account, and I'll show you how to invite others right at the end. But for now, I'll select myself, being an egotistical maniac. So that just means I'm telling the software it's me, Phil. I'm going to be hosting this show. I would also like to record the broadcast and maybe turn it into a podcast or something on demand afterwards. And while I'm at it, I don't want to do this show on a Sunday anymore. I want to have a little rest, so I'll get rid of Sunday. So even though I've scheduled it for 12 months worth already, I can still make as many changes to it as I like. Just click on Update Event. You can even make changes to the shows that are currently on air. If someone's doing a show and you're not happy with it, kick them off if you want to. It's totally up to you. So now you can see, starting from tomorrow, I have 2 till 4, I'm going live. And if I just go to next week at the top here, you'll see every day apart from Sunday. So here, 2 till 4, live DJ with me. So I can log in, get connected via that broadcaster I mentioned earlier. And as long as that says connected, as soon as it hits 2 o'clock, the software will know that I have connected, and I will automatically fade in on air and just go live. And I will then have full control to play whatever I want until 4, where I will then automatically fade out and the next show will start. If I have any technical difficulties, you can see exactly what my backup playlist will be, which in this case will be the 90s dance with Phil. So that will play in the event of something going wrong or me being late. And you can see as well, recording has been enabled. So that's how you do a live show. Just tell the software who's going live and what time. And as long as that person logs in on time, they will go live on air and have full control to do whatever they like. And the last option here, very quickly, is that live relay I mentioned earlier. What you do is when you have entered a URL that you want to schedule, select live DJ, select that particular URL, and schedule it. And again, whatever is playing at that specific time on that online radio station will also simultaneously play on your station. If you want to delete anything, click on delete. I'm going to select all the shows that I've made already. And again, it just takes a couple of seconds, 1 second there to delete 12 months worth of content. It's very quick, very efficient. So even if you have no experience in radio programming, no, not a lot of people are, that's how quick and easy it is to do. Just tell the software what you want it to do and it will do it. Now, the most important thing on this tour is obviously how on earth do people listen to this station? So the answer is that you go to the Listen tab here. So what you'll see here is a couple of things. First of all, your listen link. This is a URL that's automatically given to you when you create your account. It will be automatically assigned. You can't change it. You can't customize it, but you can send it to people for them to listen to. They can, you can share it on social media and people can click on it. And when they do, they'll be taken to kind of like a blank page, a black browser tab on their computer or their mobile phone, and it just streams your station. So it's not pretty to look at because there's nothing to look at, but it's just an easy way. Another way you can have is if you have your own website, or a website is something you want to develop eventually, you can create a web player, which will look something along the lines of this. So what you'll see here is different examples of how it could work. Click on the Add Player button. It takes about 30 or 60 seconds or so, and you just decide, the color of it, the size of it. You can have it display artwork like it's doing here. You can have it displaying the branding of your station, or the branding for a particular playlist or DJ, or something a little bit different, something a bit more arty. But yeah, you have full control over how it looks. It will never display our branding on. It just is at the moment because that's the logo we've got for this station. Click on Copy Embed Code. Paste it on your website, and anyone who visits will see something that looks just like this. Arguably a much more attractive way of people listening to your station. And there are more ways people can listen. If I click on the add-ons button here, just jumping ahead. So you can actually build an iPhone app and an Android app for your station. And again, if the idea of starting your own radio station sounded daunting, then I'm sure the idea of building your own mobile phone app does as well. But trust me, it's incredibly easy to do. Any apps that you want to add on, click on the associated builder. So I'll click on the iOS app builder here. And it's just a step-by-step guide. Just tell me what you want your app to be called. It'll be nothing to do with Radio.co. You choose the logo, the name, the color scheme. It's quite a garish color, that app there. But it's just to give you an idea on what it could look like. But just follow the template. Each step, it tells you what you need it to do. You can also link your social media accounts, any websites to your accounts there, your website, a YouTube channel, fill in all your copyright information, your privacy policies, your developer accounts. And then the last button will just be submitting it to us. As soon as we get it, we will then build it for you, keep you updated every step of the way, and get it released on the associated stores. And the same applies with the Android app. The exact same thing, just follow a step-by-step guide. We also have an Alexa skill as well. So you can build an Alexa skill that's official and dedicated to your station. She'll introduce your station, give you a little tagline, and people can listen to it. So all of these can be added onto your account for an extra monthly fee here of $15 or £12 a month for the apps, and $10 or £8 a month for the Alexa skill. But on our higher end plans, our gold plan, the Android app and the Alexa skill are included at no extra cost, and the pro plan, the iPhone app as well. So all three of these. And if you want to build your own website through us in a nice, easy, convenient way, you can do. The website builder is something you can also subscribe to as well. Jumping back here, I'm going to go to statistics. So this is a great way of monitoring your station's performance, in a really nice, coherent way. So we keep all stats and figures for your station for a maximum of 60 days at a time. So I'm just looking at the last 30. I can see how many listeners I've had in total, how many unique, so actually how many people have listened to my station. Averagely, how long is each person listening for? But also, the most important things like, where in the world are my audience coming from? Because your internet radio station is available globally. All people need is a direct access to listen to it through that listen link, a mobile app or a web player. Anyone who listens to your station will have their details recorded here, for listenership. So you can see where they're based, even what devices they're using, like a computer, smartphone, smart speaker, even things like what web browsers they're using. So most of my audience seems to be listening through TuneIn or their Android web browser. We'll also give you real-time stats. So if I go to real-time here, you will see exactly who's listening to your station right at this very moment. So here we go. I have 3 audience members here. You can see exactly where they're based, what they're using to listen, how long they've been listening for, and even things like how much bandwidth they're using up. Just to give you an idea, you get at least 1 terabyte worth of bandwidth. That's even on our smallest plan. This person's been listening for 224 hours and they've used 10 gigabytes of bandwidth. So on the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. But again, quite fishy that you can kick and ban people off from listening to your stream. Reports, I won't dwell too much on this. Reports ultimately is used for licensing purposes primarily anyway. This will keep an automatic report of everything that you play during automation. So everything that's played that has been uploaded to your account. In general, if you plan to play copyrighted material in your station, a broadcast license is something that we do recommend. We don't offer it as part of our service, so you would have to seek out independent licenses, but we have tons of information on our website all about it. You just need to contact an organization based in the country you're broadcasting from. They have different brackets, different quotas for what your station needs. Pay them a yearly fee, and they then will use part of that fee to pay the royalties for the artist that you play. In order for them to do that, you will come to reports, track summary, and as I said, this will record everything that you play over a certain amount of time, again, up to a maximum of 60 days. I'm looking at the last 30 days. It will load up all the tracks I've played, how many times each of those tracks has played, and how many people actually listen to it. You can then download this report, email it off to the organization, and they then know who to pay in royalties and how much to pay. So it can take a little while to get this information up because obviously it's getting a lot of data. So there we go. So you can now see here over the last 30 days, this is all that I've played, how many times, how many listeners. This is also really good for advertisers. If you want to know how effective a particular advert was, you can take these reports and it shows, say, for example, this was an advert, how many times it played over the last 30 days, how many people listened to it. So different ways you can use it, but primarily people would use this for licensing. Settings, as a general overview, this is just where you choose the name and the look for your station here. We have a few broadcast settings like the crossfade. This is just for anything that's automated to give everything a nice transition, how long tracks fade in and fade out of each other. By default, I believe we set it at 3 seconds, but you can adjust this accordingly here or get rid of it completely. Live anytime, that's for you as the owner of the account. That means you can go live anytime you like. You don't need to schedule yourself. And then we also have the streaming quality. So all of our plans let you broadcast to a really high quality 192 kbps. And that's a bit of context. A lot of stations broadcast to 128 or DAB, even FM. Quite a low bit rate there, but still people listen to it just like that. So adjust it accordingly, and our Pro plan will actually let people listen to your station up to 320 kbps as well. Security measures, you can block certain people or countries from listening through our geo protection, and you can also protect your stream from notorious rippers, people taking your stream and broadcasting elsewhere without your permission. We have separation rules to stop artists or albums repeating too often. We have integrations with our sister company, Radio.co. Even Twitter will automatically tweet out new tracks that you play. And then we have the billing information. So you can upgrade and downgrade your plan as often as you like. So if you're not too sure what's best for you, of course, if it's the first time launching your station, how do you know how many audience members you expect to get or what features you may or may not need? Doesn't matter which plan you start off with, it may not be the one you end up with. So upgrade, downgrade as often as you like. And then finally, as I mentioned right at the end, we have our users. So this is how you invite people onto your account. Each person who has access to your account will have different levels of restrictions. So rest assured, if you do invite complete strangers like me, if you give me the right amount of access, I can't take over your station. The way you would do that is you click on invite a user. You'd enter the name of this user. So if it was me, Phil, my email address, and then what role. So we have station manager. They have the exact same role as the owner, so you who set it up. The only difference is the station manager can't see billing information. The owner is the only one who can see that. Music controller, that gives someone the ability to upload content, build playlists, schedule live DJs. They can do voice tracking as well, and they can go live. What they can't do is change any settings. And then we have DJ and guest DJ. That would just give someone the ability to log in remotely, host a live show, log back out. That's all they can do. They can't upload content. They can't change any settings. And a guest DJ can't even see how many people are listening. So if you want to keep your listenership a secret, give someone guest DJ access. Whichever access you give, click on invite. That user will get an email about joining a station. They'll follow those instructions and they'll get their own unique login in details. So you will never need to share yours because they will get their own. And if you invited me here, I can log in from my computer from anywhere in the world and go live on your station. Even if I'm a completely different country, as long as you've scheduled me, I can log in, get connected, and I'm ready to go. Once we can all go back on holiday again, you can even do a show abroad or, just on holiday if you like to. As long as you've got your computer, microphone maybe, and an internet connection, you can go live from anywhere in the world. So there we go, guys. That's the end of the crash course in terms of the best ways of getting started in about 30 minutes or so. Like I said, it covered all the basics like uploading your content, building your shows, getting on air. And ultimately, that's all you really need. You can literally get on air broadcasting, just within a couple of minutes. Just upload a bit of content, turn your station on air, and even then, without building any shows, the software will do it for you. It's very, very easy, very quick to actually do. So there's no excuse, no reason to, not give it a go. So obviously, before we wrap up, I've got a number of questions that I've been asked beforehand, and I think some of you have been asking questions while I've been talking as well. So I'll get through as many as I can. What I am going to do though is just switch screens here. I'm going to stop my screen here. Oh, there's my face. So like I said, so I hope you have enjoyed the demonstration. I'm going to go through to my questions, and you should be able to see. There you go. Some questions that I have been asked sort of already. So some of these are some of the most popular questions we might get asked. Some of them may be questions you've never even thought of asking. So here we go. So Peter, first of all, has asked, how can we broadcast from with one host in the studio and another host on location? This is a very, very popular question we get asked, probably one of our most popular. Essentially, the software will only allow you to have one live DJ connected at a time. So if you want an on location, a remote host to join you, the way you would do that is route their audio through to your computer. Sounds more complicated than it actually is. What you would do there is a simple way, actually, is have your host or your guest call up on maybe Zoom or Google Meet or Teams, something like that. Have that device plugged into a mixing desk, that phone or tablet that you have that app on. And when they want to talk, just fade them in. and then they could be heard live on air at the exact same time as you. Very, very simple. It just does require, a mixing desk and, a device to broadcast it from. Alternatively, if you are a Mac user, there is a way of doing that without any need for hardware. There's a fantastic piece of software called Audio Hijack, which is exclusively just for Mac devices. I forget now. Someone did correct me on the last demo because I got it wrong. I think it's about $40. I think so. It's not a free app. It's about $40, something like that. But it's fantastic software that just basically lets you think of it as a spider web. It just lets you connect to various different inputs and turn it into one single output. So you could have a Spotify playlist connected. You could have someone available on Teams or Skype, all going through your mixing desk or a digital desk and going out live on air. So it is possible. You just need either a bit of hardware and a bit of software. And for information on all of this, you will find it in our, particularly in our Radio.co blog on our website. Tom has asked, can I schedule commercial breaks? Yes, you can. So we don't actually have any direct tools or integration with any advert providers or advert tools. However, it's still incredibly easy to actually play ads. The way you would do it is uploading, an audio file of this advert that you've made or has been given to you, upload it in the exact same way you would a track. Place it into a playlist along with your tracks and your jingles, and then just schedule it to broadcast as often as you like. That's how easy it is to do pre-recorded. Just treat it as any other track. When you're live, of course, some people take different approaches. If you're doing it live, it may be easier to play your adverts as part of your live broadcast in the exact same way you would fire off a track to play. Just hit play on a particular advert you may want to do. Alternatively, what you could do is schedule a live event, maybe from, as an example, midday till 12:27, and then schedule maybe a 2 or 3 minute playlist that just contains adverts. And then once that's finished, you have your DJ live resuming for another show. So play adverts as part of one live event, or one continuous live event, or break it up, have a live events followed by mini playlists playing on either side, as a guarantee for ads to play. So we are actually hoping to introduce some form of advertising tool in the future. So hopefully we will have an actual tool on service sort of helping you towards that. So I hope that helps, Tom. Shelley has asked, currently I record an entire show and send it to my local radio station. Can I do the same with Radio.co? Absolutely. As I showed you, actually, you can build your shows individually with, having your tracks and jingles playing, alongside each other in a running order. So you can do it exactly like that, how I've shown you. Or if you would still rather create your show from scratch, with music and jingles and talk bits, and then export it and upload it as an entire 60-minute file, you can do that. You can just place that single file into a playlist and just schedule it. One thing I would note, though, is with the reporting. So if you do play copyrighted material within that broadcast, please remember that the software can only recognize tracks that have been uploaded and then played during automation. It can't detect tracks that are within a saved file, within a 60-minute show. It can't recognize tracks that you've embedded in that. Likewise, it doesn't know what tracks are playing during a live broadcast. So do keep manual reports of them. But Shelley, if you want to build them, from scratch through Radio.co or export them and import them yourself, yes, you absolutely can. Whatever you find easiest. Mike has given an interesting question, which surprisingly a lot of people do actually ask. Can you explain the significance of metadata? I don't think I actually mentioned metadata in this. I usually spiel it quite a lot. Metadata is essentially, in the most basic form, the information that's embedded into a track. So, track title, track artist, there may be artwork that's part of the metadata, the year it was recorded, the recording label, the writers maybe. It's anything that helps basically the data for that particular track. Now, where Radio.co is concerned, when you upload a track, we'll look and display the track title, the track artist, the album title, and the artwork that's associated with the track. We don't register any other information like, as I mentioned, or the BPM and the right holders of the tracks. But yeah, metadata is just basically as a way just to display the information regarding to your track. And it's particularly important, I guess the significance of it is particularly, your audience knows what's playing, they're not pressing play and then seeing, they have no idea what's playing, they can see what it is. But also for reporting as well, for your licensing, you can list all the tracks that you've played. So yeah, I hope that's helped anyway, Mike. Angelo, how could I start a high school radio station with limited studio space? One thing I actually haven't gone through during this demonstration is about the equipment you need. Honestly, you need really bare bones equipment for launching any radio station. As you can see, we take care of all the software side of things. So anything to do with what you want to do on your station is no problem at all. We'll cater for that. As for equipment, the very least you need is an average powered Windows or Mac computer. We say average powered because the software is cloud-based, so it doesn't actually run off any processors. As long as your computer loads up in a decent speed and has plenty of USB ports for your equipment, that's all you need. So Windows or Mac computer, preferably, an internet connection, obviously, and a USB microphone. Plug it straight in and away you go. So even with limited studio space, Angelo, as long as you've got those things, one of those things isn't actually anything physical, the internet. So as long as you've got a space for a computer, a chair, a microphone to plug in, you're good to go. There's no need to invest in so much equipment when just those three things can do wonders for you. Of course, people may want huge mixing desks, because obviously take up a bit more space. Even audio interfaces are kind of smaller versions of mixing desks. People may want microphone processors, obviously multiple microphones if they want co-hosts, but that can come with time. I'd say the absolute bare necessities are, computer, internet connection, USB microphone. As long as you can fit that in a room with a table and a chair, you're good to go. You may want some, sound compression, cushions or pads around the room, but again, not essential right from the off, particularly for a school station. And if you are interested, Angelo, actually, I did a special webinar sort of just before Christmas last year, all about how to launch an online radio station for your school. Kind of goes through the similar demo that I've done here, but focusing on some areas that students and staff may be able to use it in different ways. So if you go on our website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see a little option called webinars. Click on that and you will see it there. So I hope that's helped. And then the final question I was asked beforehand is from Kareem. Will my radio station be distributed to different places on the internet, just like my podcast? It can be, and you will need to do it manually, but yes, it can be hosted on similar sorts of places. They're called internet radio directories. And you will list your station on there, typically just through the URL. So that listen link, if you remember, you will create a profile on these company pages, and people can go on there and listen to your station. They'll just click on the link and listen. Some of them also recommend people to your station if they're listening to something similar. So they're a great way of just getting more exposure for your station. We actually have a guide on about 35 or so that we know of, and we tell you the ways you can actually upload to them. Some of them are more popular than others. It may not be necessary to be available on them all, but the trick with online radio and podcasting, for that matter, is you want to make your station as widely available as possible. The better chance of having more online visibility, the better. The more chances of people finding it and obviously listening to it then. So even if you submit to them all, you don't need to tell everyone everywhere they can be found. Focus on the main, on the popular ones. But there's nothing wrong with getting your station out there. The most popular ones at the moment for online radio is Streamer. You may have heard of TuneIn. It's probably the most popular. TuneIn aren't currently accepting new submissions, and they haven't been for a couple of years, unfortunately. I think it's available on their website. Our support team can certainly get it to you, but there is a form, like an interest form you can sign up for TuneIn. If they do invite people onto their directories again, they can then reach out to you. About directories, people always ask, can I be available on Spotify, Apple Radio or TuneIn? And unfortunately with radio, no, they are just exclusive for podcasting at the moment, Spotify, Apple and TuneIn. So thank you very much for sending those questions to me beforehand, guys. So I'm going to just jump on the little live display, as hopefully Jack has put a couple of questions here already. So I'll go through a few of these. I'll try and read through as many as I can live, given the time that we have. Bill's asked, I have some questions about widgets. Where can I find help with this? Widgets, again, just like metadata, something may be like, what on earth is a widget? What that is a widget is basically just something you can embed onto your website. A little nifty little tool. We have three main ones that you can use from the software. I actually didn't show you them, but well, I did show you one of them. The first one can be the web player. That's a widget. Embed that onto your website. We also have a schedule widget. So if you want people to see what shows are coming up on your radio station, the way to do that is just by creating an actual schedule widget, and you'll find that on the schedule tab. And then we also have the request widget. So that's a way of having people request tracks for you. They can choose from a specific pool of tracks that you've made available. They can request those tracks, and you can, set the software to play those tracks for your listeners. So that's the main three that we offer. We are always looking at incorporating more to, give you and your audience a bit more, a bit more options to listen or see what you're doing. And for help on those, you can always reach out to us, studio@radio.co. We're happy to help. Or if you go to our help center, help.radio.co, that's help.radio.co, type in widgets or player or anything like that, and you'll find all of our help guides and tutorials there. So yes, I hope that's given some help, Bill. Christy has asked, do I need a license to broadcast on YouTube? It's a bit difficult. The honest answer is no, but not for the reason you think. The reason is no is because YouTube and Facebook, for that matter, don't actually have any copyrighted protection. Like, they're not protected for playing for live copyrighted material to be broadcast through them. Because of that, if you do any live broadcast through Facebook Live or YouTube, you will more often than not be cut and muted, and people won't be able to hear what you're doing. The reason is because they detect copyrighted material broadcasting live through their platform. Even if you have a license in place, there's no real way for YouTube and Facebook, for that matter, to know that you have one. You can contest with their team and overturn it, but again, there's nothing stopping it you being cut and muted again. From talking to other broadcasters and some of our team, I believe the only way to really broadcast through YouTube and Facebook Live without any issues is only having as talk content or original music, music you've actually written yourself, or you have to get in contact with individual record labels and promoters to allow them to, have your, broadcasting their content, their things that they own through those softwares. So, bit of a complicated question, but the answer is no, because even if you do have a license, it's not necessarily going to allow you to broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. However, for broadcasting in copyrighted material in general, we do advise you getting a license, because that will be a lot better for you. Nancy's asked, can I add adverts into my broadcast? Yes, so that was a question I answered just before. Like I said, different ways you can do it. Just upload it as an audio file and broadcast it as often as you like, or play it as part of a live broadcast. But yes, the simple answer is. So Landon, can you briefly explain music licensing? I can briefly explain it in the limited knowledge or the limited guidance we can give. We always say limited just because, as we don't personally deal with licensing, we don't have the most accurate information about it. We can give you general guidance and point you in the right direction, but when it comes to costs and regulations, it's always best to contact them directly. Generally speaking, how it works though is you will have you will pay an annual fee to a licensing organization. You should always get a license from an organization based in the country your station is broadcasting from. So if you are a US based station, you should seek out a US organization. They are BMI, ASCAP, SESAC, and Sound Exchange. It's a bit different with the US. They have 4. Most countries have 1 or maybe 2. It's not necessary to have a license with all of them, even if they do advise you maybe to have a license with all of them. Places like Sound Exchange can typically just cover your station, give you all their needs. They'll give you a fee, and you'll be able to see through their regulations whether your station is covered correctly. But you will pay a fee. Out of that fee, they will pay out royalties to your artists, permitted that you give them their reports, or you fill in a form that they give you about what tracks you played. But yeah, you will pay a broadcasting fee, and those regulations will tell you what you can and can't do. So how you broadcast, where and when. Most licenses will only permit you to broadcast in that country that you're broadcasting from. So if you did have a US license, you may only be allowed to broadcast within the US. If you have listeners, or rather you want to target listeners in overseas, you may need to get a license from those other countries as well. So you may need multiple licenses, you may just want one. But ultimately, get in contact with the local organizations to get the best and most accurate information. We have a lot of information about licensing. I'm sure we'll be able to add it to the chat or the description in here. But yeah, if you just go on our blog, or Radio.co blog, type in licensing, and we've got a couple of lots of information there. Or again, if you just send us an email, send me an email, studio@radio.co, I can give that information to you as well. Nancy, maybe the same Nancy, I'm not sure. If we have a guest DJ, can they upload their own music, or does the station owner have to do it? So just a little expanding on the user's role. So if you have a DJ or a guest DJ, they can only go live remotely, and that's all they can do. They don't have any access to anything else on the platform. If you want people to upload content, you should give them either music controller or station manager. Otherwise, if you give someone DJ or guest DJ, all they can do is log in remotely and go live. So it's always best, if you want people to upload content, give a bit more faith in them, because they will have the access to build their own shows and go live whenever they want. But yeah, any DJs or guest DJs can only follow your instructions. So if your guest DJs want to play their own specific music, they should give it to you, and you can put it in themselves. Alternatively, I didn't show you this. We have actually an integration with a great platform called Zapier, if you're familiar with it. It basically, through Zapier, you can set up different commands. So we've got a couple of commands already. So the main one that people are using it for is, if you have a Zapier account, link it with your Radio.co account, and you can actually upload content via Dropbox and Google Drive. So if your guest DJs have content that they want you to play, they can send it to your Dropbox account or your Google Drive, and you can upload it through there instead. So I hope that helps, Nancy. Tim, can I take live callers? Yes, you can, and it actually takes me nicely to this slide that I have here. So it's always great practice to do this right now. You may have already subscribed to our Radio.co channel, obviously be notified of this video, but definitely, if you haven't already subscribed to Radio.co, and James, our founder, James Mulvaney's channel on YouTube, he's got tons and tons of videos. And we also obviously make tons and tons of videos all about every aspect of online radio. It's not just about our software. It's about helping you broadcast to the best of your ability in the easiest, most stress-free way. So we've got here one about, can I take live callers on your radio station here? So James goes through lots of different ways. We all say the down and dirty way is literally just holding up a mobile phone like this to your microphone and doing it that way. It doesn't require any additional equipment. And if people call you through WhatsApp produces a far more higher quality of audio than any sort of phone call or conference app. So even if someone calls you through WhatsApp and you put them on loudspeaker, they're going to sound surprisingly, pretty good. You can plug your phones into mixing desks, as James does demonstrate in that video. You've got a talk show feature, which you can use for pre-recorded. And yeah, just a couple of other different ways. So I definitely recommend, Tim, checking out that video there, Take Callers Live on your radio station. Again, that is on our Radio.co YouTube channel, and also on our blog. If you just type in live callers, you will find it there. So it's a great video. Also, again, related to what I was talking about before, we have a great videos all about the online radio directories. We have over 30 that we do give guidance and advice on being available on. So go there to upload any podcasts or any radio stations to those directories. People always ask about, how can I make money? James as well goes through 7 different ways to make money. Things from putting your station behind a paywall, advertising, affiliate links, merchandise as well. If you want to make a cap or a t-shirt about your radio station, that'll bring in a little bit of money as well. So James goes through lots of different ways. And if you go to our website, and again, scroll right to the bottom, we have a section called courses, and we actually have a course. It's a paid course, but all called Internet Radio Cash. And it's all about how to really knuckle down and monetize your radio station. Goes into really good industry secrets of how best to earn a revenue for your station. If you want to have an idea on what equipment you may need, whether it is for limited space or just for in general, we have featured a lot of case studies. Here's one that we did recently from Foundation FM, a fantastic radio station based in London. And yeah, they go through. It's a little tour of their setup, and they also talk about their experience and how they're broadcasting. And so it's great worth watching just to see how others are doing it, and getting an idea on other equipment you may use. And again, I mentioned it earlier, you can build your Android and your iOS apps through Radio.co. And this is just an example of one of our help guides, which just tells you how to do it. It's hosted by my colleague, Harry, and he just breaks down that's a step-by-step guide and things about logos for your apps and do's and don'ts for making the best kind of app. So I imagine the answer to a lot of your questions may be lying through some of our videos. So again, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Radio.co and James Mulvaney's channel on YouTube. So I am notice the time. We are sort of running rapidly out of time. That's all the questions that I've been asked so far. I'm just going to whiz through the live feeds. There's a lot of you have been chatting. That's wonderful to see. Let me try and go through some and see if there are any questions that I haven't seen already. A lot of people praising us. Thank you very much. That's great to hear. I've seen a question from what's the name, from Josh. Has asked about processing. Do we have any processing or normalization tools? We don't, but that is something you may want to use in the future. I would honestly say if it's talk content, there's no need to use any processors or normalizers. As long as you've got a good microphone. Sometimes investing in a good quality microphone can do wonders for you, more wonders than a piece of software can. So the microphone I'm using, for example, is I know it's halfway right in the middle of my face there, is a Shure SM7B. Fantastic microphone, and pretty much like the studio standard of microphones these days. That's really good. I hope it gives off a nice rich sound. But often, you can buy really good USB microphones for about £80 to £100, about $100, $150 or so, and they can do just as much good work than any sort of processing feature there. So using processors and normalizations, if your voice isn't necessary, for your music, you may want to just edit them slightly before uploading them, but it is a feature we are hoping to introduce again in the future, again, just to boost our service, really. Let's have a look what we've got here. Lo has asked, how can you easily play jingles in a playlist? Good question. As I said, you can build them in a running order. So if you knew you wanted a jingle to play every 3 songs, add it in manually. Or the great way of using jingles is actually through our tags. So if you uploaded a dozen jingles, you're not really bothered about which ones are playing at that time, tag them all as jingle. When you're building your playlist, just drag in that jingle tag into your playlist, and then every couple of tracks a random jingle will play. You don't even need to select a specific one. So I would say that's the easiest way to play jingles. Tag them, get them on air, and the software will play them whenever you like. Let's have a look. Any more questions as well? A lot of questions about licensing as well. Lots of various different prices. So if you want an idea on potential prices from people who have seemingly spoken to organizations already, there's a couple of comments here. I think it's from our YouTube channel about different prices. Again, I won't comment on costs just because we have no accurate information when it just comes to licensing, cost-wise anyway. Let's have a look. Is there any more? Again, thank you very much for joining us. So one thing we always get asked as well is about a free trial. So again, if you go to our website, you will find all of our plans. Again, 5 subscription plans. Each of them do different jobs. They all do the same job, getting you broadcasting, but they have different allowances. And you can have a 7-day trial to have a little play around with as much as possible. If you enjoy your 7-day trial, you will automatically roll over to a paid subscription. But the one thing to get across about the free trial is that although it's free, it's not a restriction. Anything that plan offers, you can absolutely do. Have a experiment with as much as possible, and hopefully, it's one of the best decisions you'll make, which is really good. Yes, Tim Reed here. Possibly the same Tim who's answered a question before. He's mentioned a good point, which I should point out. Excuse me, got a frog in the throat. Something to point out about iOS apps. Flipping heck. Oh, my throat's going. Been talking for almost an hour. Throat is going. get this information out. So Tim has asked, you may want to mention that to do the iPhone app, you need a royalty license. That is correct. So the reason why is because of that is because Apple have got a bit more layers of security when it comes to developing their mobile apps. So with that, they won't submit an app to be released on the stores until they can see that you are pretty much like a legitimate station. So they need to know that you are properly covered, that you are a real station, abiding by all the rules. So in order to do that, before we can actually build your iOS apps, is you actually need to submit us a confirmation of your license. We will then pass it to Apple. When they approve it, they're good to go, and they can review your app and process it. So yeah, thank you very much for Tim. I did forget to mention that. So I think we do mention it in the video here that you can see on the screen here. But yes, if you do want to build an iOS app with us, you will need a broadcast license for that. Because I did choke on my own saliva there, let's just see if there are any. One last question here. One questions here. So again, something that always asks about email addresses. So people ask, where can I get sort of a professional email address, and is that included when we build when you give you the website builder? So the website builder, $12 extra a month, or £10 extra a month, and included in that, we'll give you all the widgets, all the hosting, the tools, everything to easily build your own website. Drag this here, type that there. It does include a domain name, so type in a domain name that is available. Find if it's available, which it would be great. You can obviously have that included as part of that subscription, and away you go. You've got your very own personal domain name for your website. It doesn't include your own email address. So if you do want something like phil@philsradio.com, something like that, I don't know why you want that. That's mine. Then you'll have to go elsewhere to get that. But it's just a great way of having as many personal things to do with your station, just like any business. Run your radio station like a business. If you've got your own personal website, your own email address that's got this name of your radio station in, that can do wonders, particularly when you're trying to attract advertisers. If you're emailing from philsradio@gmail.com, doesn't look as good as phil@philsradio.com. It just looks a lot better. So if you want to really improve the marketing and obviously eventually the advertising of your station, then get personalized domain names, personalized email addresses, and you'll be surprised how wonders that will do. And there'll be plenty of services out there that will provide that for you. Well, there we go. Thank you very much, guys. We've just gone over a little bit over an hour or so. I hope that has been helpful. You've got a great idea on how Radio.co works. And hopefully I've answered, a lot of the pressing questions. If you do have any questions that I haven't answered for you, you can reach me by just sending an email to studio@radio.co. That'll come through to me, and I'll help as swiftly as I can. And if you need any more information about Radio.co, go to our website, sign up for your free trial, see what you think of it, and fingers crossed you'll be broadcasting happily and successfully. So I'll be here again next month to give another one. Might be themed, slightly different direction with it. But if you have any interest, any questions, do get in touch by sending me an email, studio@radio.co. And until next time, take care and happy broadcasting.
Starting a radio station has never been easier. Click here and I'll take you to a free guide which shows you exactly how you can start a radio station with minimal fuss, no technical headaches, plus also start getting those all-important listeners. How does that sound? Click here and I will take you to my free guide.